How to get a $50,000 business loan through the SBA Microloan program. I'm even going to be showing you how to get up to 2 million, up to 5 million, 10 million, up to 25,000 same day instant approval, even up to 5,000 without a business checking account and no credit score requirements, and so much more. So stick with me until the very end of this video because you're going to be getting some juicy details. But first, my name is Michael from Viral Funding Solutions, and no further introduction from myself. Let's get right into this. This is also going to help you as an SBA EIDL Loan Alternative program. And I know with that being said, the funds have been completely depleted. No more disbursement of that. And I know people are still going in and trying to figure out how to get it. On May 6th, that was the last day to request an increase for reconsideration, etc. And as of May 16th, that is when the portal will be shut down. So make sure if you have anything you need to extract from there, you go ahead and do that. Any further details, you refer to your portal. And by the time you're watching this, it may be over that time already, so it may be irrelevant. But I wanted to take a moment to go through what these microloans are and how they can help you in your business to continue to build, grow, expand, and even get out of a tight pinch. Now, microloans, there are smaller size loans that are up to 50,000 that are provided through the SBA funding intermediaries. And I'm going to be getting into some of those details here. So we're going to be going through the content, and all of this information will be down below in the description for you. Before you go anywhere, make sure you listen and watch what I'm showing you right now, because this will be in your best interest, whether you are a startup or a non-startup. I'm going to be showing you some further options towards the end of this video. So what is a microloan? Are you eligible? How do you use the microloan? What would you need to apply? How do you pay it back? And existing borrowers. So let's start off with the very top of this. The microloan program provides loans up to $50K to help small businesses and certain not-for-profit childcare centers start up and expand. So the average microloan is about $13,000. So just because it says up to $50,000, the average here is $13K, and it is for these startups / newly established businesses. So you have to fall within that criteria, not somebody who is more of in the intermediary stages, has years of business and has the revenue piling up per month. You may have years but no revenue generated, and that may be sufficient enough for you to start this. But if you are a business that has already the times generating the revenue you need, then this will not be in the best of interest for you. And I'm going to cover some of those alternatives. So make sure you stick with me, as well as I'll leave it down below in the description. In fact, very quickly, there's this free questionnaire you can fill out down below in the description, where you will get a personalized and customized email response on your best funding option and options from yours truly. Plus, you will get a free 6-step pre-approval lending checklist to get you approved for funding much faster. So what I'll do, once you submit this, it should take you no longer than 30 seconds or less if you have it all here. And it'll look like this, more or less. Once it lands into my email, I'll analyze, evaluate it, and give you a proper response back on your best funding option and options. I'll be breaking down the qualifications, how it works, how these services work, numbers, conclusions, bonus tips, showing you what to do, stuff that you wouldn't get elsewhere. And I'm going to be showing you this and everything more. So make sure you check that out down below if you haven't. And if you're currently waiting, I'll get back to you. I literally get loads of submissions per day. And so I have a lot of projects to do also, but I'll get back to it as fast as possible. So make sure you fill this out. This will be the fastest way to get a hold of me. And it's actually the best way to get a response. So, and all the other information I'll leave in the description too, such as like the website and email. But that form, if you haven't already, please do so. SBA provides funds to specially designated intermediary lenders, which are nonprofit community-based organizations with experience in lending as well as management and technical assistance. So this is who you're getting it from, these nonprofit community-based organizations that are working with the SBA. These intermediaries administer the microloans program for eligible borrowers. Now the big question here, are you eligible? Each intermediary lender has its own lending and credit requirements, just like anywhere else. And if you've ever taken out one of these private loans through these private lenders, you would know how they work, because I've likely spoken to you. You've actually received an offer, you've taken it, or you haven't, but you just have the understanding that each of these lenders that you may be submitted to individually by myself, or might be through a brokerage where you get multiple offers, which is something that I strongly recommend. And if you want to learn how to do that, again, I'll leave more information down below, but that form will be there for you. Like I said, it'll be the best way if you haven't already. So generally, intermediaries require some type of collateral as well as the personal guarantee of the business owner. Listen, if you are not with getting to put in a personal guarantee, just about 99.99% of the loans, cash advances out there require this. Even if you go through the back end, through building credit, getting business credit cards, they will require some form of a personal guarantee. And as you go through the sequence of that, it may be taken off. But for the most part, it's always there. You don't have that leverage, and they have to find a way to secure their money back. They want to be able to ensure that you're going to be able to pay them back. If not, they can seize the collateral. They can use that. They can take whatever it is they need necessary. That's just how it works with personal assets. Just understand that you should be responsible and understand how to be accountable with the funding you get, and really understand the structure of your business and cash flow and everything else required. And it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. And you should be excited that you get this funding, that you can help your business thrive during these times. So how can you use the microloan? Microloans can be used for a variety of purposes that help small businesses expand. Use them when you need less than $50,000 to rebuild, your reopening, repair, enhance, or improve your small business. So before I go any further into these examples, a lot of us, because of COVID-19, have been directly impacted, not only in business, but ourselves personally as a human being, not sure about how our day will look like when we wake up in the morning, what we have to do, and what it will look like at the end of it. We're just laying on the couch, just feeling all this stress, all this stuff piling up on us, and we have to still wake up the next day and do it all over again. And we don't want to put ourselves into that position, right? We don't want to have to endure the suffering and the pain of unsure if you'll continue to run a business, even have one open, etc. So examples of these include working capital, inventory, supplies, furniture, fixtures, machinery, equipment. Proceeds from an SBA microloan cannot be used to pay your existing debts, if any, or to purchase real estate, these investment properties for all these investments you have going on. So think about it like that. And some of the other SBA loans that I've spoken about in the past, if you would like to learn more about them, I'll leave links to down below in the description. I've already created videos for those, such as the SBA 7A and also the SBA 504/CDC. There's also the 8A, which is more of a mentorship. It's not a loan. So I'll leave some of those down below, and you'll learn more of the subsets between the SBA 7A, 504. What else? Like there's SBA 7A Express loans, standard loans, cap lines, etc. And what those details entail. I'll probably leave a quiz down below in the description so you can check it out and see if you would qualify for that. So proceeds from that, as you already heard here, what do I need to apply? Microloans are available through certain nonprofit community-based organizations that are experienced in lending and business management assistance. Individual requirements will vary, and it's true. When you go through each website, you go through each of these nonprofit community-based organizations, they will have a different set of requirements. And I'll go through some of the things that's more on a standard that you'll see across the board here. But to apply for a microloan, work with an SBA approved intermediary in your area. There's a little link there. You can click SBA approved lenders, make all credit decisions, and set all terms for your microloan. So participating micro lenders, you can go ahead and select by state. I'm in Washington. I'll select that one, but you'd want to obviously select yours. Oregon Association of Minority Entrepreneurs Credit Corporation, and it gives you the address here. It'll also give you a phone number to contact, visit the website, and then an email. So what you'll want to do first before you consider doing any of these other ones is go visit their website. So if I were to click here, it'll open up in the same tab. So you may have to backspace, or you may want to copy this here and then put it in a new tab and then go back into the old one. Right here, OAMI here is where you can go through Oregon Association of Minority Entrepreneurs, which is that is what it's long for. And you get to understand a little bit more here, 34 years. You'll want to go through their site and understand a little bit more of their information before you start clicking anywhere. So you can see that. You can even go through their About Us page and learn a little bit. Sometimes it's not as obvious when they have their programs and services, access to capital. You can go there. They have the clearinghouse program, mentorship, conference room, and the WSEB and SDVBE certification, technical assistance, other resources, opportunities. You can see that business to business, sponsorship and donations. And then about them, that's what I would do and learn a little bit. And then you can come down here, and each and every website will be different. Access to capital. And sometimes it's not as obvious for them to give you like a buy or do something here. So you may have to use that email and give them a phone call. OAMI has 2 ways which to provide capital. And you can see what they would require there. Loan parameters, types of them that they would offer. Eligibility guidelines for both types of these loans. Loan uses, parameters, application process. Obtain a pre-loan and application process from them to access the capital orientation. And they'll give you further instructions on how to proceed. Sometimes they won't. Like I said, you may have to give them a call, send them a text, send them an email, and then you can follow up with the call as well. Or you can just wait on that email to come through. But if you're diligent and you really want to get this moving forward, then you can try getting on a call with them. It's not like they'll always answer because they're also always busy, and it's always hard to get an unexpected phone call to come in and pick up on that. So you can learn a little bit more and see what they have to offer. But again, each and every one will be different. So let me backspace here. And also let me know in the comment section, have you received an EIDL loan, possibly a PPP? Have you tried micro lending programs? Have you tried private lending programs? So those are other alternatives that I recommend, and I will talk about that in a moment. So please stick with me. So we can also, again, like I went over here one more time. I selected my state and see how this one doesn't have a website. So you may have to give them a phone call. That's the only option there. There's a location for it. It's physical address there. Ventures, info, rural community. This one has a website. So click through there. You can learn more about them. Service areas, employment opportunity, partnerships, business resources, and then the latest. So once you get through there, they'll give you some information. So what you would expect from some of these, they would look at like personal tax returns. They would at some point ask for SBA forms in the process. They would want to look at recent pay stubs, list of collateral, if any. If not, I mean, they'd probably give you a PDF or a document that you can list on there. And then business tax returns. Sometimes there's no third-party review team. And so some of the little things like what are the rates? So you would expect there to be between somewhere around 6 to 9% in interest for these types of microloan programs. And I know they're not like the 3.75% for-profit, nonprofit, less than 3.75%. And you get these outrageous 30-year term loans. This is not how the microloan programs work. They're very generous to give you what they can. So it's not like you should be upset about that. And I'll be getting into some of the FAQs here at the bottom. But 6 years is usually what you would see, or that's 72 months, or on average, what happens is most people will get about 40-month terms. So that's what would 40 months on that. So let's go over here. I showed you what you could do to participate and how to get a hold of them. How do you pay back your microloan? Repayment terms, amount, planned, use, lender requirements, needs of the small business owner, so it can vary. Maximum repayment term allowed for an SBA microloan is 6 years, as I just mentioned. Interest rates vary depending on the intermediary lender, generally between 8 and 13%. And it has been somewhere between 6 to 9 in some cases, but also with rates and inflation and everything going up, you could expect somewhere between 8 and 13% as well. Existing borrowers can create an account in SBA's Capital Access Financial System, or CAFs for short, to monitor your loan status and get account enrollment instructions. So that is what you would expect from getting an SBA microloan. On the interest, the term duration, the amount on average, what most people get, how you could find one, how to go through their website if there is one, and other ways of looking at it. And so you're probably asking yourself, what is an alternative option to this microloan program? Perhaps you're a completely new startup who can't get access to this, and you're looking for startup funding. I'll leave information of that down below in the description. You can also look into getting 0% interest for 6 to 18 months as a startup, but you also want to have a higher enough credit score. We're looking at around 680, 700 and above, and there's got to be better credit, payment history, as well as minimal inquiries, debt to income ratio, your utilization rate, and so much more. But I'll leave a video, or I'll leave information for you down below on that startup funding, as well as it's a non-startup route. If you're not a startup and you have time in business, that may be an opportunity for you to take advantage of, where you can get to up to about 150,000 through these business credit cards that you're building. And it's also going to help you build business credit, as well as building business credit on that topic. I'll leave information for you down below in the description so you can learn more about that, and how, if you're already getting started with that, how to build up more trade lines, how to apply for new vendor programs and have that reporting, net 30s, etc. I'll leave a free video series down below if you haven't picked that up. Those are great alternatives through to the SBA Microloan program, as well as for startups and non-startups, a 0% interest for 6 to 18 months through credit cards on the back end. You also have a personal loan / startup loan option that I'm going to leave for down below. Again, I'm not going to cover all of that in this video, and all the details on what that entails, but you may qualify for that with pay stubs, W-2, etc. You can show about 50,000 in annual sales, etc. But again, there will be more information for you, so you can check that out for a startup loan. And then there's no true startup funding program out there unless you're looking through like angel investors, and you're finding other ways of supplying through 401k IRA financing, stocks and bonds. You have collateral, and then sales may not be a requirement, but maybe time may not be. And then credit scores will be a factor to a point. Crowdfunding. Now, if you're a non-startup, and those are just some of the startup options, by the way, if you're a non-startup, there are a lot of other ways for you to approach this. You can get up to 5,000 as a gig worker / self-employed independent contractor of that degree. So if you don't have at least 5,000 in average monthly revenue, or your lowest month is 5,000, but you're doing 3,000 and you have at least 3 months in business, and you can account for 3 months of bank statements at least, and there are no credit requirements, and you can use your personal checking account for business, that may be something you get approved for. But if you don't meet those, then it'll be really difficult to get funding out there. Like I said, there's this form here. If you haven't filled it out, make sure to do that. How to get up to 2 million. There are other funding services out there, up to 25,000, same day instant approval. I'll try to leave more info to that. What you were seeing here earlier that I didn't cover, this is my site here at Viral Funding Solutions that you can view more of if you would like to understand who I am a little bit. I'll leave the website domain name down below. And what am I, and what is it that I do here? I save you, we save you, as in, like, I wear multiple hats here, so you'll get a lot of the information coming through me. A lot of time, energy, money, and especially the pain of sifting through endless business funding solutions, such as online marketplaces that always give you a clear picture and a proper breakdown of your best option or options, and show you everything you need to know before walking into an application with 110% confidence and certainty that you won't only get approved, but be satisfied with what you're getting. And to give you the most legitimate and helpful source of the programs and lenders, so you can have a safe, secure, and hassle-free application process, and even all the things that happen after if you want to come back and so forth. With an expert loan broker / agent like myself, you will get a more personalized and customized response with what's best for you once and for all. A little bit about how it works here. Our services, there are more services that I offer. I just put a limited amount there. And then about myself, you can see that where I got started. And so I was like yourself in the same situation. I understand how hard it is to go out in the world, try to go through a traditional bank to get funding. You only get disapproved. You try that over and over and it won't work. And you have to meet a certain eligibility. Do you have sufficient collateral? Is it enough? Is it the type of collateral they are looking for? If you don't, okay, that already dings you a point or more. The credit, the revenue, the sales per year, do you have enough time in business? And when it comes down to it, all the documentation you have to provide is just endless. It can be very scrutinizing, not as scrutinizing as the SBA loans, but in some cases they will point you to that. When you're especially asking for a line of credit, they have the cap line programs with the SBA that they'll try to take you through. And all of this winding you down and you coming home at the end of the day feeling stressed out, not sure what your next move will be. You're sitting here, well, the EIDL loan didn't approve me for any initial amount. Well, I couldn't get an increase. I tried an SBA increase and it just didn't go through, or I got that. I just need more. I just don't want to offer up what I had to offer up there with collateral over the amounts. And I'm just looking for an alternative. It doesn't matter if it's fast enough funding. I'm not rate sensitive, or maybe you are, but you don't qualify for certain material. You have to understand these things. And I've been operating in all this for a very long time. And it is frustrating just meeting a minimum of 3,000, 5,000, and being consistent at it is another animal. And so when you're in those early stages of your business, yes, a lot of this can be mounting down on you. I'm not just somebody who gives you the information. I've been through it myself, especially with my digital businesses now that I have multiple ones that I've been feeding, understanding how to grow, expand them, not just get out of a tight pinch or just to build them from the ground. And that's what I mean by the EIDL loans. When if you've heard me say this, don't just use it as, what I'm saying is it's primarily used for survival purposes. You've been directly impacted by COVID. It's not a lot for growth and expansion. Yes, you can apply it for it if you already have. But the difference when you go away from there, a lot of these lenders, they want to see that you're using this funding for business growth and expansion. Yes, you can also use it for getting out of a tight pinch, COVID relief. There are lines of credits for those, so it doesn't hurt your cash flow. You just have to understand that on this side of the equation that, hey, what might be your ROI in the immediate future? What will it possibly be in the long term, if any, and or? So we're looking at it as in, like, even if you were rate sensitive, what would it mean? Okay, if we gave you this 30,000 that you qualified for, you're doing around 30,000 in average monthly revenue on your lowest month. We'll say actually we'll get you 50,000. Then, well, let's see, what could their terms be? What could their rates be? What do they fall in? Can they pay us back on time? I don't want them going into a default. I don't want them to ask for a deferment, going into collections. That just doesn't work on this end. And so the benefit of that is you also get to pay it back much faster. And you don't have to worry about ongoing debt, paying more towards the interest over time that accumulates, and it's usually more expensive, the total cost of financing. So all this stuff that I can communicate with you over time. So don't feel overwhelmed. That's not what I want you to have here. I just want you to know that there is this microloan program. There are programs out there like Kiva, Ashion, a few to mention among others. And I'll leave more information of this down below. Like I said, it could be for newly established businesses, startups, but it's also a lot to go through, a lot of hurdles at times. So even if you're a complete startup, it may not work out best. So there may be other alternatives out there. Just don't limit yourself and understand that this does exist and what is available out in the market today. Even like I said earlier with the interest, and then now you're seeing 8 to 13%. It's just what's happening, especially with prime rates. Right now, we may be expecting a jump in 0.75 to 1%. So it might be from 3.5, what it is today, prime rate, up to about 4 plus, 450. And so it may change to that. So even if you are rate sensitive, you have to understand where you're coming from and the things that you are eligible for, what you can qualify for, and so forth. But that'll be everything from myself in this video. There are other programs out there. We can get up to 5 million with the SBA 7A, up to 10 million with the SBA CDC, 504/CDC, up to 2 million with cash advances, other business loans unsecured, secured, backed by collateral, accounts receivable financing, and so many more. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to voice it to me down below in the comment section. But also get started in the description down below. Look for those links. Check out the business questionnaire form. It's not an application. I'm not a creditor. It won't hurt you to start that. And it's very safe and secure. I don't take that and submit it anywhere. I'll email you back on the response of what you can qualify for and what's best for you to move forward. So that is everything from me. Keep looking out for content on SBA EIDL alternatives, these microloan programs, as well as other opportunities to take advantage of. That is everything from myself. Thank you for tuning in.